Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is a video tutorial for the new Boston. In this tutorial we're going to look at the HTML attribute in jQuery. Now the HTML attribute will do two things. The first use of it is to take HTML text or HTML code, I guess, from a particular element, and the second will actually input text into a particular element. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a space that we're going to retrieve some text from. So I'm going to create a paragraph just here, and I'm going to write some text in here. Now I'm going to reference this paragraph with a unique ID, just so we can reference it when we create our external JavaScript file. I'm going to call this just text. So now we can actually grab the text from this paragraph using the HTML attribute, and we reference it using text. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a blank paragraph down here, and I'm going to give this an ID of copy. And you'll notice that I haven't actually applied any text into this paragraph. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a button, and this is going to allow me to copy this text into here. So I'm going to create a type of button, and I'm going to give this a value of copy, and we also need to give this an ID as well, so we can apply an event handler to it so we know when the button has been pressed. So I'm just going to call this copy. Oh, in fact I'm not, because I've already called this copy. I'm going to call this copy underscore button. Okay, so now that we've done this, we need to create an external JavaScript file. We've already included jQuery, however we need to go ahead, create a new file and save this inside JS, the JS directory. So I'm going to call this html.js. Okay, so now that I've created the html.js, I need to go ahead and include this on the page. So I'm going to create another script tag and end that script tag there. The type is again text/JavaScript, and the source is js/html.js. So now that html.js is included on our page, we can start to create an event handler for this button, retrieve the text from here, and then place the text inside here. So let's go over to html.js and start to create our event handler. So we use a $, and inside of this we need to reference what we want to check for an event, and this is copy button. It's our button on our page. So I'm just going to type copy underscore button. Now just in the meantime I'm going to come over to my browser and refresh to see what we have. We have this copy button, the paragraph here, and then there's another paragraph underneath that we'll be copying the text to. So copy button.click, so essentially when the button has been clicked, we want to perform a function inside of here. We create a function as normal with parentheses, and then square our curly parentheses as well. We're going to bring this down, and then inside here we need to perform this specific operation, which is to take the text from this paragraph and then copy it into here. So the first thing we need to do is retrieve this text here, and we've called this ID text, so we can essentially create a new variable in JavaScript, and I'm just going to call this text, and that's going to be equal to, and again we're referencing an element on a page, and this is text.html. Okay, so now the HTML function has taken the value inside of this paragraph, so the text variable in JavaScript will now equal some text in here. What we can then do is use the HTML function again to actually place the reference of this text inside of this copy paragraph. So if we come down a line and we just simply go ahead and reference copy and then say .html text. So let's just run over this again. We check for the clicking of the button, we store the text that's currently in the text paragraph, the first paragraph, and we store it in a variable called text. We then apply the HTML to this text button in here. Okay, this text paragraph, sorry. So let's go ahead and test this out. When I click copy, you'll see that it's duplicated the data. So because we're using the HTML function, this means that we can actually copy HTML text from one paragraph to another in this case. Obviously there are better uses for this. For example, data you might have retrieved from a database, you might want to put into a paragraph, a span, a div. But if I was to, for example, enclose this text in strong tags, you'll notice that when we carry out the same operation, it does actually carry the tags over as well. So the HTML function in jQuery is used to grab HTML data from one area, and then you can also then go ahead and put HTML content into another area.